Hello and welcome to Church of Uganda Family TV, specifically My Story. So here we bring you people how to motivate you, to encourage you. You can't be knowing someone of big profile, but how do they get there? How does a bishop become a bishop? How does a president become a president? So here we bring you people to motivate you and maybe change the story. Interestingly today, we are hosting the new baby bishop. Bishops, we are calling him baby. I don't know if I am right to call him baby as well. But well, the Right Reverend Barnabas Tibaijuka is here with us today. But interestingly, he's the very first bishop for West Ruwenzori Diocese, which is now the 38th diocese of the Church of Uganda. My name is Luke Majumba Alinaitwe, and I'm sitting in for Edwin Mukalazi and Dr. Robert. So, with me, I'm with Right Reverend Barnabas Tibaijuka. You're most welcome to Family TV.
Thank you, my brother.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. We bless the name of the Lord.
Yeah, please greet the viewer out there.
Yes, viewers, praise be to Jesus. I'm privileged to be here, and I want to thank God for the opportunity given to me to have something to share on Family TV, the Church of Uganda Media Center. Ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters in the Lord, first of all, I want to give thanks to God. Our God whom we serve is very faithful. He can lift you from dust to a different thing, and people wonder how you reached there.
Interesting. And that
He can lift you from grass to grace. I am a living testimony.
Wow.
Much as I am a son to a priest, but I lived a lifestyle not worthy of a priest. At home, I would pretend to be very humble, obedient, faithful, because at home it was the order of the day. You can't eat without praying. You cannot sleep without praying. You cannot do anything. Tukutendereza was tukutendereza in our home. But my inner part, my inner person was quite different.
Yes.
At school, I would do other things. At home, I would be a different person. I would lead church services. I would take readings in the church. I would sing in choir. At times, I would lead even evangelists who are going door to door. For evangelism, I would lead them. I would guide them. But I was doing that just as a son to a reverend.
Wow. That is
Not until when the Wamba Greater missionaries came to Bundibujo from Ruwenzori Diocese in Fopoto, where they preached a gospel which touched my life. And the reference was from the book of Revelations, chapter 3, verse 15, which says, I know your behaviors. You pretend to be a Christian, yet you are not. You pretend to be righteous, yet you are not. You are lukewarm. And I discovered they were talking to me. At home, I would pretend to be a Christian. But at school, a different character. When I heard that gospel, it turned my lifestyle. I changed it. I discovered God was talking to me. A person who pretended to be good at home, yet at school, I am a different person.
Now, interesting.
Yes.
Let me first cut you short there. So I want us to first go back down there. Who is now Bishop Reverend Tibaijuka? The other person, where do you go for school, things?
I was coming to that. I was just excited of giving my testimony.
Interesting.
But I want to thank God because at that time when they preached to me, it became a turning point of my life. I decided to acknowledge Jesus as my personal Lord and Savior. Barnabas Tibaijuka, as I've just echoed, I am a son to Reverend, the late Reverend Timiseo Wedime. I was born on 8th May 1975. By that time, my father was serving in a very remote parish in Ruwenzori, a parish called Butungama in Ntoroko district now, but by then it was still Bundibujo district. So I was born at church because my father was working there. I lived that kind of shifting day on day. Every transfer would shift, And I'm the last born in our family. I'm the 9th child. So I, being the youngest, I would move with my father. So much as the devil kept on putting in me some other things, but I lived at church, I lived with my father, I had all the sermons. When I was born, I went to Ruwenzori Primary School. Ruwenzori Primary School, I was there for 4 years, P1 to P4. I didn't have a chance to go to nursery school. P1 to P4, then after which I went to Mutiti Primary School. It is up in the mountains. After which, then I came back to Ruwenzori for PLE. That was 1990. Then 1991, 92, 93, 94, and 95 actually, I was at Semliki High School. Izahura. It's one of the oldest secondary schools in Ruwenzori. It was started by Commander Cowell, was a missionary. So I started from there. While there is when the preachers came, then I was converted into Christianity in full swing. Immediately after my senior 4 in 1995, I opted, because I had received Christ. I chose to go and train as a lay reader. But unfortunately, I was denied the opportunity because of some reasons which I cannot understand. So I decided to go and train as a primary school teacher. I went to Ruwenzori Primary Teachers College. I studied and I qualified as a grade 3 teacher. That was 1998. I became a teacher. I started teaching in primary school. In 2002, because I was hardworking, young, dynamic boy, I was given the opportunity to caretake head teacher. They gave me a school called Kuka Primary School. I became a caretaker head teacher. It's from that time then I decided to go to NTC Muvende for a diploma in education and graduated in the year 2005 in January. Then after which I married. I'm married to one wife, Barnabas Tibaijuka. Then in 2008, the calling to church ministry came again. Then I had the opportunity to go to Uganda Christian University, Mukono, for ordination course. While there, I was given a lot of responsibilities. I was elected member of parliament representing Bishop Tucker School of Divinity and Theology to the Guild government. While in the Guild government parliament, I was given the opportunity to be Minister of Education and Sports. So I was ordained in 2010 and priested 2011. So after which I continued teaching while doing church ministry. In 2014, I went to Mountains of the Moon University, where I graduated with Masters of Education Leadership and Policy Studies. And now, as a priest, as well as a teacher, I wouldn't be effective to either sides. So I opted to leave teaching and I concentrated with the church ministry. It's that point that I was now given a big parish. Big but not active. You would not see anything on ground. Big with 13 daughter churches. And that parish would challenge in giving offertories, especially seasonal offertories like Easter and Christmas. But there was nothing on ground for sure. And when I reached there, God helped me. We managed to build one of the biggest vicarage in the entire diocese now of West Ruwenzori. In 6 months, we had built it.
Which church is this?
The church is called St. Luke, Church of Uganda, Uganikere Parish. It is found in Kisonkwa Chidukonare, just near that mountain. near Ruwenzori Mountain. We managed to build the church, built a big church, finished it actually. We had to bring water to the church. We bought a big motorcycle for transporting the clergy. I had my small car vehicle, but because it is a rural area, since my vehicle was small, it would not fare well. So we decided to buy a motorcycle to enable me to do ministry. While there, the opportunity for becoming a bishop came.
Wow.
On 3rd April 2023, the year of our Lord, I was elected bishop. First bishop actually. By then we were calling it proposed Diocese of West Ruwenzori, but now it is a real diocese. So I want to thank God because He has elevated me from down to where I am. And even before I went for training, I first worked as a catechist. A catechist is someone working in church but when he's not trained. Like from 2005 to 2008, by the time I went for ministerial formation, I was a catechist at St. James Church of Uganda, Bubandi, and the Lord found me there. I want to give thanks to my family, my wife. She has been of great help to me. She has prayed for me. She has supported me. Our children are doing well. They have not portrayed bad image in the community. We thank God for that. And above all, we thank God for this new calling. My request to God is to give me the ability to serve Him faithfully and to give us the wisdom to apply so that our diocese can be one of the greatest dioceses in this country. Those small and young, but I believe with the help of God, we shall triumph.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Yes, sir. For those who are just joining us, I'm here with Right Reverend Barnabas Tibaijuka, the first ever bishop of West Ruwenzori Diocese. Now, Bishop, you talked of being a smart child when you were growing up in schools. Why not somehow stubborn somewhere in schools? They're not being expelled?
Those are one of the issues I want to thank God for. I was one of the things that defended me from not being expelled. I was an athlete.
Okay.
I was a footballer. And I would sing.
Okay.
So I was so talented. At times they would call me and warn me, you have survived because we are going to have this tournament. You have survived because you have going. So, but when I received Jesus, I became a friend to every teacher.
Wow.
Because they saw a new Barnabas. They saw a changed Barnabas. It is now an appeal to my fellow Christians. Much as I'm a bishop, I am a Christian. I want to appeal to all young people that Jesus, whom we believe in, first of all, he was a youth. He died at the age of 33. So it is unfair not to accept him, yet he's our age mate. If it was this time round, we would be finding him in ghetto. Yes. We would be bongering with him because he was our age mate. Just 33. And that's the time when he died. It means he ministered to us, to people, when he was still younger than that. So I want to encourage all the youth. Jesus is for all. Now the adults, I can't say that you quit Jesus because it's for the youth. But the youth are your children. You have to embrace the works of your children. You have to embrace the works of your child. Jesus Christ is your son. And above all, he's God. He's God. For God so loved the world, he sent his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Now I want to emphasize on the word whoever. Here there's no age, whether young, old. There's no sex, whether female or male. All of us, when we come to him, we become new creatures. In John 1:12, it says, all those who welcomed him, who accepted him, he gave them the power to become God's children. So that's why on earth here we have people who are just people when they are not God's children. We only become God's children when we accept Him. Otherwise, we can stay on this earth planet when we are God's people, when we are not His children. I want to give an example. At times we do have some helpers in our houses. We have a maid, we have a shamba boy. The day you find that shamba boy in your bedroom is when he will discover that does not belong to that home. But you find there your child. Even the child can jump on your bed and defecate. The following day you bring him back to the bed because he's your own child. So that's how we become. That's how I became a child of God. I'm no longer a foreigner in my father's house because I accepted his son Jesus Christ, and I believe even after this earth planet, I will be welcomed by Jesus in heaven. It's my call to every Ugandan, every people watching, that let us accept Christ to rule our lives. Let us turn from our bad acts and we become real children of God.
Wow, that is interesting. So, Bishop, what is this specific point? What was this turning point for you to say, okay, now let me give my life to God?
Number one, as I told you, I was unruly at home. I had that spirit of pretense. Yet, I was a different person. So, I denounced the evil of pretense. Then when I joined the secondary, I joined wrong peer groups, which introduced me to many bad acts, like fornication. I started even deceiving my parents, giving them demands which are not true. I'll tell my father that they want so much for ABCD, so that I can facilitate my girlfriends. I started also attending nightclubs, but when reaching home, I would be number one to blame, to criticize those who go to nightclubs. And my father would look at me as a very smart guy, born again, and he loved me because I had that convincing tongue to show him that I was born again. But when they preached from Revelations, as I've told you, chapter 3, verse 15, I know your deeds. You are neither hot, you are neither warm or cold. You either choose to either to be cold or to remain warm, so that people can know. And I discovered, I'm living a life of pretense. At home, they know me as a born-again Christian. At school, I'm a different person. Then that was my turning point. And since then, I have never regretted. Since then, I have always lived by example. And actually, I was not surprised to be elected bishop. God does things in a way people cannot understand. I personally, you're seeing here, I'd never been an archdeacon. I'd never.
Wow.
I'd never been an archdeacon. I'd never been given any big responsibility in church. But mine was to preach the gospel, and people would see the fruits in me. Mine was to develop places, because like right now here at the Sun headquarters, when people reach here, they will think these things have been here for quite long. I was transferred to this place in 2012. I reached here when there was no church.
Here?
Yes, we had a shelter there, just there. We had a shelter there. My small house was where that latrine is. Same permanent. By the time I reached here, even my chairs didn't enter. Remember, I was working at the Dasan headquarters, Dasan youth worker. I came with my good things because I was earning. Reaching here, my chairs could not enter. We had to force the door out first. Then we entered the chairs. At the dust, by that time, 2011, 2012, I was getting 380 as salary. Reaching here, I was given 10% of that money, 38,000. When I gave, because I'm used to giving my wife whatever money we get, we just share. I bring money, I give to her, then we budget together. So that day I gave, when I was given 38,000, I gave to her. It was an envelope. I dropped down Coming back, she asked me, how much did you give me? I said, how much did you count in the envelope?
Hey.
Said, no, don't fool me. You told us, you told me, we have gotten salary. You're giving me 38? I said, yes. Let's cool down, Mama. The house alone where we are can tell how much you have to earn.
Yes,
the church will tell. The compound will tell. You can imagine here, there was just that house. Another house, they have just demolished it yesterday, but one was there for the lay reader. And a shelter. So I spent here 4 years. But I want to thank God that that church was built, that cathedral now was built. Wow. By the time I left here, they proposed, by that it was proposed bishop's house. It was on the window level. The DS's house down there, it had been roofed. And the other 3 buildings you can see there. 4 buildings rather. So one thank God that he has elevated us to this status. Then I was transferred from this place in 2016 December. So 2017 I had to go to Bishop Valia Theological College. I started teaching there. Thereafter from there it's when I was taken to Buganikere, where still I found no house. I found no church. The only thing I found there were the Christians. So I'm not surprised even though we are not at the level of other dioceses, all those old dioceses. I'm not scared so long as there are people here. Wow. People will add on what is there. You can see, I think you have traveled in dioceses. You can see now, you can see that office. It's one of the best offices in this province. You can see our house, our residence. It's one of the best things, houses. Our cathedral, though small it is, but at least it can accommodate 1,000 people. And that's our beginning.
That's the beginning.
Yeah, so start from there. We have other houses which are not yet finished, like one is just roofed. Others are not roofed yet. But one thank God, I am convinced that God will do miracles in this place and people will not believe.
It's so interesting indeed, yeah. We are here with Right Reverend Barnabas Tibaijuka, as I told you, the first ever bishop of West Ruwenzori Diocese, which is now the 38th diocese of the Church of Uganda. So we are going to return shortly, and when we return, we want to know, after being elected as bishop, how did this leave him? Shortly after we return. Welcome back. It is, of course, my story here at Church of Uganda Family TV, and today we are glad that we are hosting a very fresh bishop, very interesting bishop of West Ruwenzori Diocese, Right Reverend Barnabas Tibaijuka, here with me, and his story is really interesting if you follow what he has been telling us here, to what he was and now to who he is right now. Interesting story to follow here. So Bishop, how does the story of, how does you have now gotten a notification that you're now the bishop-elect, how does this make you feel?
This is interesting.
Yes.
See, new appointments always come with new feelings, new excitements, new challenges, new mindset. The day I was announced bishop-elect, number one, I would not believe until when I saw you people, the press, running in my village parish, reaching me. And so it's when I started believing. Then my bishop called me and said, you have been elected bishop. Wow. The following day, I received a letter from His Grace the Archbishop. I said, nah, this could be true. This could be true. Number one, I started thinking of the Lord I am going to carry as an overseer of the church. I've been in a parish. I saw how heavy it was. Now I started asking myself, now what about now? I've become a bishop. What next? With the fear, with the excitement, with the hopes, all those mixed things came into my life. I started to go on my knees, seeking for wisdom on how to run the diocese. So, the Spirit of God comforted me. I am now very strong, ready to meet any kind of storm in this new calling. Because I know he who is in me is greater than that one in the world. So I am feeling like in this new calling, I'll start planning for a bigger thing. How to lift the diocese, which people to work with, which competences should the workers have in order to work in the secretariat. I am thinking of expanding the diocese, though not the land, but the diocese can be expanded through creating new administrative units like archdeaconries, new parishes. I am thinking of building the capacity of our clergy. As I've just told you, I hold Masters of Education Leadership and Policy Studies. My reasoning will not match with someone of senior 4.
Yes, sure.
So I need people near me to study. So capacity building, and they will not only concentrate in theology, but also in other fields. Like now, for instance, if you didn't go for journalism, and as Christians, now who would be working here in Family TV? So I'm also focused on professionalism. It is not of any harm to see a reverend who's a medical doctor, a reverend operating patients in the theater. You see a reverend when she's immunizing children. So that is human resource. I also thinking of protecting our environment. Wondivujo is prone to landslides. And I'm not surprised. We became enemies of our environment. Massive cutting of trees, getting timber, burning charcoal, massively. We became enemies of our environment. At the end of it all, we became enemies of ourselves. Because if landslide can take where you have been building, where you have been staying, so you have become an enemy of yourself. So I'm going to emphasize on environmental protection. I want to thank God that there is a program by the province of the Church of Uganda, whereby on 10th of September, every church of Uganda, every church in the Church of Uganda, in the province of Uganda, it is a day of planting trees.
Wow.
10th of September. I'll start from there. I'll start from there by implementing an activity of the province. That is environment. Then we cannot have a diocese with people who are not healthy. In Wondivujo, we have only one church-funded health center. And that health center is also in Sora State. It's called the Mantorova Health Center 2. It will be our responsibility to ensure that that health center is elevated, is well built, stocked with drugs, well staffed with disciplined personnel, so that we can have Christians who have good life.
Is it part of the church? Is it for the church?
Yes, this is for the church. It's for the church. We shall not end there because our diocese is a bit big. We shall have to establish in other places health centers. As if that is not enough, we also have a task to think of the church ministers' welfare. As we talk now, there are some retired church ministers at home. I have their package from our mother diocese, from the pension scheme. I shall have to uphold that to ensure no church minister should lack after retirement. They should keep earning monthly, though little, but something is better than nothing. So I'm going to work upon that, of course, together with the people I'll be with in the church. The youth.
Before you go to the youth, are there plans for the education system around with the church and? Of
course. Already we have church-funded schools. It will be our duty to work hand in hand with our church-founded schools, number one, not to encourage them not to focus on only academic excellence, but also the moral part of our students, our children. Because you may excel in academic when you don't have good manners. We shall end up having a bad community. And our motto of Uganda is, for God and my country. Our children, our learners should put God first. Because the Bible says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So we shall work hand in hand with the Ministry of Education, the Department of Education at the district, especially in deployment of teachers. We don't want wolves in our schools. We want teachers who are responsible, who can welcome the gospel, who can accept Jesus, who can think about the future of the church. So here in Ruwenzori we have 66 church-founded primary schools. We have 6 secondary schools church-founded. Yeah, and others are still coming up. So it is our duty to ensure that those people are brought on board, work together with them for the glory of God.
Interesting.
I was talking about the youth and children. See, any forest with no younger trees, it is leading to disaster.
Extinction soon.
So, youth and children is the church of today and tomorrow. Even Jesus blamed the Pharisees who wanted to stop children to come to him. So, our Savior Jesus embraced them. And I had just echoed that Jesus was the youth. So we shall have to bring programs to keep our children and the youth in the church. Like which program? Many programs. Like in our mother diocese, Ruwenzori, we have RIME, which is Ruwenzori Anglican Youth Missioners. We shall encourage them to accept Jesus, to grow in Jesus, to remain in Jesus. Then we shall conduct some fellowships, we shall conduct retreats, conversions to keep the youth warm. And then we shall also encourage them to work with us. For example, we have a plan of starting up an FM radio station, and we are calling it Voice of Christ. So we shall have to use the youth to work on that radio station. We shall take others to school to study journalism so that they can do good work. So the youth, first of all, my first assignment after being ordained was to work with the youth. I was the youth worker. Just of Ruwenzori, I was the chaplain at Uganda Pentecostal University. I was dealing with students, with youth. So that skill is still with me. And I love the youth because even my children are youth now. Yes.
When you talk of children, actually that drives me to family now. You have Mama Alice.
Yes.
How, these days, as we've been talking about youth, there are so many evil things in society. Basically, for the youth, they start up families, but they can't sustain them. Did you have challenges in the family, and how did you go about them? Because people really want to know that.
Of course, having a family or marriage is a journey.
But first tell us at least Mama Alice and the children's names for people to know them.
Yeah, we have Asenguza Gloria. It is a rhetorical name because all Victor come from God. Asenguza, Ruhanga no Asenguza.
Yes, sure.
We have the second one is Agnes Mbabazi, Talemwa. He never fails. Then we have Jolly Fortunate. We called her Fortunate because the mother had an accident. So when she was born, said, "Hey, this is fortunate." We thought the mother would be operated. So Jolly Fortunate is there. We also have Mary. Mary Asimwe. Yeah, when she was born, she said, God be the glory. We got boys late. So that one made us not to stop producing.
Okay.
So later on, we got a certain young man called Timothy Wedime Makuni. Now those names are typical Rwanda.
Okay.
We named him those names out of happiness. Makuni means happiness.
Okay.
We are happy
for having a boy now. Finally.
Yes. Wedime is a proverbial name. People, you see, African setting. People were despising my wife of not giving birth to a boy. So now, Wedime means deceiving. Yes, these people were deceiving that we shall never have a baby boy. So Wedime Timothy Makuni is there with us. Then we also have another girl called Edith Atuhaye. Atuhaye means he has given to us another girl.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the meaning. Another girl. And we thought that was our last born. But after some 7, if not 6 years, my wife conceived. Gave birth to a baby boy, whom we think is our last born. And that boy, we named him Tibaijuka. Tibaijuka is a Toro name, which means he remembers.
Yes.
And I would not hesitate to name him, to give him my name, Tibaijuka Barnabas. For me, I am Tibaijuka. They are the people who don't remember, but God Tibaijuka, Ruhango Wakoraki, Tibaijuka. So it's Tibaijuka Barnabas, and I have a friend in Msunga, is a Mchiga. It's called Tuongiro Bright. So now, since you thought that you had ended, so God has added you. So that one is Tuongiro. So it's Tibaijuka Barnabas Tuongiro. It's now 4 years. We are really happy in our children.
So what are some of the challenges and how do you sort them as challenges? Because people out there, mostly the young people,
Marriage,
don't know how to sort marriage issues.
Thank you very much. Marriage has 3 pillars. Number 1 is love. Whom you love, whether he or she does a mistake, you take it easy. Love. Love from the heart. See, the love of today, it has targets. Someone who can love you because you have a good vehicle. You drive hard because you have a good car. There's someone who can love you because you have the money. But true love. Then number 2 is tolerance. See, remember, we don't come from the same home. You just meet someone from Busia. Like my wife grew up in Busia. For me, I grew up here in Ruwenzori. But we finally met and we are together. So she came with the Busia background. She found me with the Ruwenzori background. So now, for sure, we can't match. We have different worldview. The way we articulate things cannot be at the same level. So you have to tolerate one another. That's the second pillar. The third pillar is forgiveness. Even though is your biological sister, you can't stay with her day 1 to last day when you have not offended one another. So the spirit of forgiveness is what is missing in today's marriage. Forgiving one another, tolerating one another, and loving one another. So we have managed to stay together because of those 3 pillars. When I'm offended, I forgive. When I offend her, she forgives me. I tolerate her bad behaviors, she tolerates my bad behaviors. And all that centers at the word love. So I want to call upon today's people, the married couples, without those 3 pillars. Did I mention money? That is one of the pillars?
No.
Did I mention your job?
No.
3 things. Whether you have money, if you don't have love, you'll not stay with a wife.
Sure.
Whether you're highly educated, if you can't forgive, you'll not stay with a wife. So our marriages, our families are breaking and crippling because of those 3 pillars. Yes.
That's interesting. So right now we go back to Ruwenzori, at West Ruwenzori Diocese.
Yes.
The plan, I think, started in 1992. And how have you been? Have you also been gearing up this, or
The story here
Eh.
is like the story of the Israelites from Egypt to Canaan.
yes,
40 years down the road.
Wow.
Early 80s. In the 1982, 80, something like that. It's when the first meeting was held here.
Yes.
But by that time, I was still very young. 82, I was 7 years old. We held the first fundraising in that playground where we did the consecration yesterday. I came to sing as a very young man. I was putting on my shirt. Very many clergy were there. Maybe they thought I would want to be the bishop, or they want to be the bishop. Yet the bishop was in the choir. Quite interesting.
Wow.
So God's timing is perfect. And everything happens at its time for a purpose. So after that fundraising, then things started crippling. We had some priests by that time who they joined other churches because they were annoyed. The Bishop of Ruwenzori has refused to grant them a diocese, but yet we had nothing on ground. We wanted the diocese on Mount, but practically it wasn't there. Until 2012, when the dream came back again. So we started, actually the dream came back again having built that church. When we built that church, the people said, no, we are looking for a cathedral. Can we start from here? Then we started and made a groundbreaking of all those houses. You are seeing those offices and other offices behind there. Then we started slowly by slowly. There came a time when Christians ganged against an archdeacon who was here.
Over what?
Misappropriation. Lack of trust. They ganged against him. They told the bishop. The bishop, it was as if he was trying to say, to calm them, to cool them down. First, wait, let me first listen. They did not listen to him. They went and brought a roller and packed it there, said, put their things, and we are taking you to your home. It was not a good experience. It was not a good experience. But I learned two things. Every bad thing has a good thing. And every good thing has a bad thing. The bishop was bitter with the Christians, but the letter went to him and apologized. So because we have Bishop Robin is a parent, he can forgive. So he forgave the Christians. He forgave all of us. But out of that, after the meeting with the bishop having forgiven us, then the head of letter called people and said, you people, if this time we don't get the diocese, never rise again. Let us work tirelessly and ensure that we have put on ground whatever is required to have.
Wow, that's interesting. So Bishop,
that's when the speed now, 2017, started to date.
Wow.
Yes.
You had a very strong organizing committee.
Yes.
Witnessed it at dinner in Kampala.
Yes.
How did you get to nominate these people? Or were they willing to take on the mantle? And yesterday, Minister said she's going to continue with the work. Yet the actual ceremony is already done.
Yes, we did not simply pick them. We chose them from amongst us.
Okay.
They are our Christians. Honorable Harriet Ntabazi is a strong Christian. And others, the Honorable Jenny as Mera Commissioner, NRM, there is Madame Judith Odoi, Malia. We have Ada Kabarokole. Honorable Ada Kabarokole works with the Ministry of Public Service. We have also our own son. He's a Muslim but very active in the church. Fuande Kehanda Hassan is the Commissioner of Police. And other members of Parliament. And other individual community living in Kampala. So that's how they end up organizing for a dinner in the Sheraton.
Okay.
We have trust in them. They'll have to move this diocese with working together with the people around.
Wow.
Yes.
So on Sunday, where are you going to start? Where are you starting from? Okay. Now, Bishop, where are you starting from? What are you starting with?
I'll start from the cathedral.
Wow.
I'll be at the cathedral. I can't take the blessings somewhere else. The first blessings will be for the cathedral. And thereafter we shall first start working, go on meeting the clergy, laying the strategy on how to move. Also doing some office work.
Okay.
Yeah, so far we shall start from the cathedral.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So in case you're just joining us, this is Right Reverend Barnabas Tibaijuka, the baby bishop of West Ruwenzori Diocese, now the 38th diocese in the Church of Uganda. Bishop, as we conclude, what are some of your hobbies apart from being a choir man, being what else do you do?
As I just told you, that during my youthful time I was an athlete, a footballer and a singer.
Wow.
I still hold those values. I play football, though I don't belong to any club, but I do practice here. I am a fan of Arsenal.
Wow. Interesting. Arsenal. Interesting.
If you notice the choir that sang yesterday, they sang in our local language here. All those music were produced by me.
Wow.
So I sing, and I do some running around to check my fitness.
Okay.
So those are my hobbies. Then also, I like chatting with the people.
Okay.
I like sharing with the people. You'll hardly find someone on the street who has a bad feeling with me. Okay. When I reach in town, in the park, I bonga with them. So they say, that one is our man. When I go to the preachers, I'm a preacher. So I belong to all seasons, actually.
Yeah.
It's hard to define me for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a really interesting story here from Right Reverend Barnabas Tibaijuka. So as we conclude, Bishop, please, any last remarks to the people out there and the best of what you're going to offer us as now the new bishop?
Thank you very much, moderator. I am really very blessed to host me.
Thank you.
And I thank God for Church of Uganda Family TV for the wonderful work of preaching the gospel they are doing. The people of Ndibujo, I want to call upon the people of Ndibujo and all the people of God in the entire country that let us love our God. Uganda is full of people from different backgrounds. Let us embrace one another. Uganda is full of, the most important thing is reasoning together. Our theme is reasoning together. Reasoning together, reasoning together. It is in Isaiah chapter 1 verse 18. Come, let us reason together. Yes.
Wow.
I want people to come and reason together. We sort out our things. Yes, yes, yes.
That is really interesting. That has been Right Reverend Barnabas Tibaijuka. You've heard his story. You've heard everything he's capable of doing, and it is interesting that this is his story and inspiring from nowhere to now a bishop.
Yes.
Yes, from a choir. He was actually here when the plans were being laid out. He was just in the choir, not knowing they were planning for him ahead. So it has been an interesting story from Right Reverend, the newly consecrated bishop of West Ruwenzori Diocese, who is Right Reverend Barnabas Tibaijuka. Now, you know, something when he was giving his charge yesterday, interestingly, he talked of poverty eradication and also advocating for the youth. And we can't surely wait to see that as he takes on the mantle of serving the Lord and the people in the community. Yes, I've been sitting in for Edrin Mukalazi and Dr. Robert Rutaji, and I'm Luke Majumba Alenaito here at Church of Uganda Family TV. But of course, very big people behind the cameras. We have Linda Dine, we have John Ajal, we have Didymus, we have Collins and Nancy, plus Brinko the one and only. So we wish you the best and thank you for watching Family TV.